Have you ever tried so hard to fit in, or feel good enough? Maybe even just feel somewhat good about yourself. Do you know the exhaustion that can come with trying so hard to live up to what others' expectations are for you? Your friends, your school, your parents, family, your team, social media, or maybe, if you're anything like me, the voices in your head. Your thoughts, your expectations can feel like the hardest ones to live up to. They always seem to set the bar so high that you'll never be able to reach it. But what if I told you there was actually a different way to live? There was a life out there known as life to the full. A life where from the moment you show up, you are enough. And the invitation has been extended to you already. Yo, hey JHM, welcome to week 2 of our series, We Are JHM. I'm excited that you are with us today, whether you're joining us online in Redlands, Park Rapids, Las Vegas, Bellflower, or Anaheim, whether this is your millionth time in JHM, which, is that even possible? Or your second and a half, which I'm not even sure that's possible either. This week we're talking about the second of our 3 core values here at JHM. Following Jesus. Now, before you tune me out, if you're new here to JHM, or even if you just aren't really sure what you believe in just yet, all I ask is that you hear me out for a few minutes. I just want you to know that there is a life different from the life that you're living right now. So much better that you have been invited to live. One of the best ways to talk about this invitation is to travel all the way back over 2,000 years ago. Since that time, literally millions of people have accepted this invitation. But one example that the Bible shares with us is found in the book of Luke in chapter 5. Jesus walks by a man named Matthew who was at work. Maybe he was bored looking like this kid. Just kidding. Matthew was actually a tax collector, which there are a lot of things I can say about that job. But one of the most important for you to know is that it meant that Matthew was solidly well off. He had the cash for things in life that he needed. But the other side was that the rest of his people, the Jews, they didn't like tax collectors at all. Matthew probably didn't have the most friends. And Jesus extended an invitation, and he said 2 words that changed Matthew's life forever. Here, check it out.
This is Jesus.
Hey-o!
Who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love and healed people from their sickness. He did many miracles like calming storms and even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
Jesus was in Capernaum and he was walking along when he saw a tax collector named Matthew sitting at his tax collector's booth. Tax collectors were hated by everyone because many people thought they were cheaters and sinners.
Oh, none of my too. Let's get out of here.
But Jesus saw this man and said, "Follow me and be my disciple."
Me? Yeah, you.
So Matthew got up, left everything, and followed him.
Did you catch that? Those 2 words, follow me, have marked the lives of millions. They have changed them for the better. And my guess is that some of you listening right now are thinking,
why should I follow Jesus? Why did Matthew do that 2,000 years ago? Wouldn't he have lost his job? How have those 2 words changed so many people's lives? Can following Jesus really change my life?
First, let's just calm down a little bit, all right? That's a lot of questions. Oh wait, I'm the only one freaking out. My bad. Sorry. Now, don't you worry, because Jesus is so awesome, so rad, so amazing that he himself tells us why this invitation to a life following him matters so much. In a different story in the Bible, Jesus tells us pretty straight up about life, and he says, "The thief, who's Satan, comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But I," Jesus is saying, "come that they may have life, and life to the full." John 10:10. Did you catch it? Did you hear what Jesus is offering you? He's not just offering a boring, basic life. He's not offering a victory royale guaranteed or that you'll be the best at your sport or instrument. He's not even offering free pumpkin spice lattes. No. And now I know this may be hard to believe, but he is offering you even more than that. He's offering life to the full. And if you're like me when I was in junior high, you may still have no idea what life to the full means. And there is a lot I can share on this, but I will share two things that it means for me. And who knows, hopefully it will ring true for you too. First, accepting the invitation to follow Jesus and living life to the fullest has meant that I get to live a life of freedom when it comes to sin. You know what sin is, right? It's our mistakes, our failures, our shortcomings in life. Those times when we know the right decision and still make the wrong one. And to clarify, what this freedom from sin means is I first need to make a confession. Okay. Are you listening? Here it is. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still sin. I know, mind blowing. Okay, maybe not. But seriously, the invitation that Jesus is giving us is that Jesus tells us that he knows all about that sin, all about the worst parts of your life. He knows the things that make us sometimes think, if people knew this about me, would they still love me or be my friend? He knows every thought that makes us not feel enough, every hurtful word that someone else has said about us. He knows everything, and Jesus still looks us right in the eyes, and he smiles and he says, yes, I love you. Second, following Jesus means I get to be confident that I get to spend forever with Jesus in heaven. And for you, if you aren't fully sure what exactly heaven is or what it looks like, don't worry, I'm not exactly sure what that looks like either. But I know two things about heaven that make me really excited. Jesus is going to be there. The person who sees every part of me and says, I am enough. The guy who makes me feel like I matter and belong. Yeah, he's going to be there. And the Bible shares that there are no tears in heaven, no crying or no pain. Like, sign me up. And now that I've shared my two things, I want to challenge you with two, if you'll let me. First, if you haven't made the decision to follow Jesus yet, or maybe you still have a lot of questions about what that looks like, I want you to know that your small group is an awesome place to ask those questions. I want to challenge you to ask those questions like, who knows, to maybe even make the choice to follow Jesus today. Your small group leader can tell you a bit more about what it looks like to accept the invitation. And my second challenge is for those of you, maybe you've heard this idea before and you've already made the decision to follow Jesus. First, awesome. And second, I want you to try to think of someone in your life who might not know about Jesus, or maybe they do and are just unsure about the whole thing. Maybe it is a friend, a teammate, or a family member. In fact, near where you're sitting today are sticky notes and some pens. Would you take a few minutes during your small group to actually write down 1 to 5 friends that you think would really enjoy JHM? 5 friends who really need to experience Jesus' invitation in their own life? I want to challenge you to talk to them about the life that Jesus has given you and invite them to come with you to one of the awesome weekends that we have coming up this fall. You see, I'm not saying you need to tell them what they need to believe or that they need to make these crazy changes in their life or that you need to be perfect. I'm just asking that in the same way you talk about your day with them or who that cute girl or guy is, that you'd share what Jesus means in your own life and then invite them like Jesus did to follow me.